Alright, this is like the 1 billionth time Genshin has released something at right as I turn off my computer and I'm about to go to bed. I open my phone and I see they put out a trailer, crazy one at that. I saw the thumbnail and I'm watching this now. We're not waiting. Let's just get into it. We got bird. Oil painting. Had a... Hey, this looks like Windrise. Or something, I don't know. Maybe not. Could be just a regular tree.
Has always been so. Life abides no reason, for none are born by their own consent.
Okay.
Death abides no reason.
So that must have been the
For it
ruler of
cannot
life,
be
and that's
defied,
Renova. Damn,
even
Renova.
by those who see it coming. Time abides
Hold on.
reason sent.
Okay. Let a DNA symbolism. I should probably just let it play, but I'm not one of those people who likes to go back and watch it. I like to just pause stuff, go back as it, whatever. Gotta point out, this does look a little bit like Paimon, especially because it has this symbol here, which I can't remember the name of off the top of me head. But anywho.
Death abides
Then yeah, obviously
no
Renova.
reason, for it cannot be
Who very much has
defied,
Arlecchino
even by those who see it
vibes,
coming.
which implies Arlecchino isn't.
Time abides no reason.
You know, I never pictured Istaroth
For
being a
it
woman.
deprives us all.
Okay, now here's the other problem. This looks a lot like Paimon's thing as well. Like Paimon's little thing above her head. This doesn't look anything like Paimon. But this really does. This looks like that one Honkai Impact third character. Honkai Impact third character, actually. What was her name? Durandal or something? I always knew the Paimon clock was fishy. Anyways.
Equally, yet brooks not a second to be reclaimed. Space abides no reason.
Could finally confirm it. The standard of Heavenly Principles is the space shade. So finally enough of people saying, oh, she killed Fanus and took over. I mean, maybe she could have, but she's not the second who came. Okay? It's never implied the second who came won, anyways. Actually, it's kind of implied they lost. To be fair. If anything. But anyways, I feel like with a lot of the major things, I was like, bruh, I can't wait till y'all motherfuckers get, proved wrong. And every time I've thought that, it's actually happened. So, I'm glad I got a lot of the implications right. I doubt we'll actually get to see Fanus or anything.
The ruler of space stopped the golden-haired twin travelers and mercilessly tore them apart.
Wow. Finally, it's getting talked about after 5 years. Interesting. Hello, Crow. Oh, bye-bye, Crow. Hi, Renova. Damn.
No. This looks more like Rhine-daughter's doing.
I love
Please
her
don't
design.
litter other people's spaces with your bizarre creations.
Is that Rhine daughter?
Unsurprisingly, all life here has been rendered unstable, tainted by the ruler of space. I have seen enough to know that repeating this experiment would be fruitless. You seem to wield my power as if it were nothing but a plaything for your amusement. Although merging with you has stripped me of agency, I shall
What
still continue
i-
to voice my disapproval.
is going
My
on?
dear Rhine-daughter, you have my
Yes, that is
respect,
Rhine-daughter.
Nibirius.
Hey,
Your nagging
Nibirius.
is one of the only things that can get under my skin.
Okay, we have Nibirius now.
And you, Istaroth?
So is
Why did you bestow
Nibirius
history upon...
Is one of the only things
because it
that
looks
can
like her
get
hair
under my
before
skin.
was white, but this is yellow. But I did think
Get
I
under
saw,
my-
yeah, those DNA structures. I'm not sure. But considering she's like and used, so Nibirius is the ruler of life.
My
Alright,
dear
understood.
daughter, you have my respect.
She looks a lot less Paimon
Nibirius.
now,
Your
which makes me
nagging
think
is one of
Sister
the
Roth
only
might be,
things that can get under my skin.
you know, Paimon. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what Paimon is. Who knows? She could be Phanis. I doubt it.
And you, Istaroth? Why did you bestow history upon them?
I had to find some way to pass the time, did I not? After all, it's clear that Asmodee is not here.
Asmodee.
Well, perhaps you could share your input a little earlier next time. But you're right.
I
There's no
really
trace
love
of
the designs of
Asmodee
this
here.
shade. Asmodee.
Where has she gone?
That's a demon name, actually. I was
Anyway,
like, have I heard that in Genshin
It's
4?
time
No,
we
I
got
just
this
heard it as a
space
demon
out
name
of its
anyway.
misery.
Asmodee might be the Standard of Heavenly Principles name. Okay.
These meetings are just a formality. Does it really matter that only 3 of us are here?
I, for one, think that we should find her. Since the Heavenly
Okay.
Principles cast us as shades, not one of us has ever missed a meeting.
You know what? That is true. The Standard of Heavenly Principles doesn't mean the Heavenly Principles. That is true. Food for thought, food for thought. So, the Standard of Heavenly Principles is the shade of space, but she's not the Heavenly Principles, which I guess we all just kind of assumed. Which, to be fair, her title does kind of imply that, but not necessarily as well. So, hold on.
For one, think that we should find her. Since the Heavenly Principles cast us as shades, not one of us has ever missed a meeting.
Cast us as shades. Like, cast, like, in pottery and metalworking? Like, created? They didn't say cast us aside. They said cast us as shades. So that implies what I've been thinking the whole time, that Phanis is still running the whole show. From a story writing perspective, I think that would make sense. Just me personally, I don't feel like having another group that we never met kill off a character we never met that is so important. I do think the second who came is not what everyone thinks it is. Just my take. At least not everyone who thinks the second who came is the Heavenly Principles. I don't think it's anything like that. But I'm starting to think the Heavenly Principles and Phanis is the same. I kind of already thought that to a degree. It's confusing. Let's just continue. Maybe we'll get
What
answers.
She just
But I really
switched
love the
sides.
designs.
Finding her would do more harm than good.
Now there's an interesting idea. Better than being devoured.
Just switched sides? You make it sound like such a trivial affair. We are shades, shadows of the Heavenly Principles. It's unthinkable. Unless... She loves her new master more than her own self.
Ranova, do you know that you're being watched?
By whom? Whose gaze could pierce this far? I remember those eyes. It was just before I placed the curse of immortality.
Okay, this is really interesting and super cool. Cool notes up here. Oh,
He's an old
right
acquaintance
about.
of mine.
Oh,
I'm sure that working for the Tsaritsa
Oh,
has
Rhine
helped
daughter.
him let go of his past obsessions.
The Cryo Archon. With her paltry powers, she dares set her gaze on the heavenly principles.
The heavenly principles have yet to awaken. If I were her, I wouldn't pass on that opportunity either. My dear Rhine daughter, you know I cannot allow you to think that way.
It's so interesting how Nibirius.
It was purely hypothetical, Nibirius.
For lack of a direct order, I say it's time we intervened. Of course, to the extent permitted by the rules.
I'm really wondering what Paimon is, because I feel like I thought this would answer it, but I starting to think Paimon
gaze
is
of the gods has always been considered a blessing.
Unless Paimon's heavenly principles are self.
Hence the origin and meaning of visions. People have always yearned for the gaze of the gods. And yet, it is said that when mortals look directly
This is a crazy
upon
long
the gods,
animated short,
they
by the way.
invite their wrath and retribution. And what of it? Lives will be lost. A nation brought to ruin.
I didn't remember this was what his voice sounded like.
So be it. It is nothing I have not endured before. I already know the price of gazing upon the gods. So tell me, what is the price of killing a god? The god stays silent, as if the thought had never once crossed his mind. To all those who dare not look up to the heavens, Her Majesty the Tsaritsa says this. Behold. Even the gods have their limits.
I low-key thought he was gonna pull the fan and say even gods can bleed. Finon, however you want to pronounce. I know the thing is Finon, but I think it sounds kind of weird. Anywho.
Make sure the Frostmoon Scions don't pose a threat.
I think his new, like,
Per
Fatui
the
designs.
Pale Star Edict, we are to retrieve the damselette from Nod Cry, whatever it takes.
Okay. She's in Nod Cry too. Okay, that was crazy. I have to be quiet because it's almost 1 a.m., but that was crazy. I really like Renova. Ryan daughter reveal, interesting. Like, design reveal. We already knew about Ryan daughter forever. The fact that she is, like, not the other half, but, like, I don't know her connection to Nibirius. I mean, she has her power and stuff, but clearly, like, it's almost like she's her younger sister, or her daughter even. I'm not sure. Honestly, it doesn't matter either way. She clearly is she has some connection to her. but is still inferior. So she's not really her other half. I guess she could be a lesser half. Anywho, and then there's Istaroth, which I always assumed was male, but of course, in typical Genshin fashion, they're all female characters. That's fine though. I don't. I'm not gonna whine about that. You know. It's a gacha game. Like, who cares? That's the whole point of gacha game. You know. I mean, if we're not talking about ZZZ, Genshin, HSR, pretty much every other gacha game is all female characters. So let's not whine about that. All right, we're here for a reason. um. So yeah, I'm just gonna.
Unsurprisingly, all life here has been rendered unstable, tainted by the ruler of space.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I really love their designs, all of them. I want them all playable. Um, I am very curious as to how like, you know. Also, question: if Rhine is connected to a god, and they're all on good terms, it seems, and she was one of the 5 singers of Conria, and she, you know, contributed to all the Conrians getting the curse of immortality, how does that all work out? I'm a little confused. Um, I mean, I don't know. Well, a lot of these things is like, we'll have to wait and see. You know? Um, who the Heavenly Principles is, still don't know. Who Paimon is, still don't know. But we have the names for all of them now, all the shades. That's awesome. We know they're all alive. And we know they all are, because, like, I think it was kind of up in the air if Istaroth was still alive or had power or anything. But, because, you know, they kind of just disappeared. But, yeah, here they are. And they're a female. I did not expect. But yeah, no, this thing really does look like Paimon's thing. Which is interesting. But it could just be a coincidence, I guess. You know? It could all just be a big coincidence-y. I guess Renova also has these symbols. So do they all just have... I really love Renova's design. I really hope we get her playable. And her voice is nice too. Istaroth's design? It's funny, because in the thing back here, Istaroth looked like she had like blonde hair, but she actually has white hair. And then Nibirius looks like she has white hair, but she actually has blonde hair. So, I don't know what happened there, but interesting. Um, yeah, and then we have Asmodee. They all have very pale hair. I just realized that. They all have like nearly white hair. Like 3 of them basically have white hair, and then Nibirius has blonde hair. Like pale blonde hair. So that's very interesting. And they all have white incorporated into their outfit, which is also interesting. I mean, obviously, Renova to the least extent, but you know, still, hold on, you know, this is super interesting. Man, I want all of them to be playable. All three of these characters. That's a lot to ask for, but like with such amazing designs, come on, come on, you gotta make them playable, man. The designs are awesome. They'd be OP as crap, but like, why not? We have OP as crap characters in Honkai Star Rail. Might as well put some OP as crap characters in Genshin too. But anyways, we're on the 20. We're past 20 minutes. So I'm gonna end here and upload this in the morning. And yeah, see you in the next one.